us love Cheetos, but also we don't know why.
Yeah.
Except one company believes they do have the answer why, based on some testing they did. I don't know if I could call it neuroscientific. Perhaps it's pseudo-neuroscientific.
They were like trying to, basically they had people do this thing while the activity of the brain was being read.
Electroencephalographic studies, neurological testing on people to see what parts of their brains were activated by certain marketing. They were testing marketing, specifically the commercial in which the incomparable Felicia Day gets revenge on someone by smearing Cheeto dust on their clean laundry.
That
now,
bitch.
people said in the testing, to the marketers, that they didn't like it. But certain parts of their brain lit up when that happened, showing that they did like it. They just did not want to admit it.
Yeah. So they got some sort of subversive pleasure out of watching.
There's a subversive, like, gross pleasure out of, like, you know, not just watching that and watching the revenge, but also, like, you feel, like, pleasure from being gross, I guess.
Being covered by, like, a greasy film. I hope it wasn't just Felicia Day that they were responding favorably to.
Well, then why would they? I would say I like Felicia Day.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that if Cheetos have an appeal, you would imagine it would have to be the flavor, I guess.
I disagree.
That you don't like the flavor?
I just don't like artificial cheese flavors.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it either. I would, but the idea that the thing that seems worst about it seems like, well, they have a good product here, if only it didn't leave the film. Like, if you could reach into a bag and just take one out and eat it, you might want to. Because even if you don't like the flavor, it has an interesting texture, it sort of compresses down and everything.
I really want to try the Korean strawberry Cheetos.
Oh,
it's not cheese. It's just like powder and like the corn fluff inside.
I'll stick with crunchy Cheetos. And so that is a little bit weird. And look, this is a company that's trying to explain it. They have their study, but I don't know that I believe that, because I know that I would be much more likely to buy Cheetos if they didn't have that.
You know, a lot of neuromarketing is kind of, it's hype. It's not really backed by anything solidly scientific. And a lot of the research is contaminated by confounding factors that aren't really taken into account. So I wouldn't put the most stock into this study.
Yeah.
But let's say you do. Is there anything that gives you that kind of, like, subversive feeling, like, you know, it's,
liking something for a reason you shouldn't like it for, maybe? Yeah, I mean, I think that one very common thing is when you toast a marshmallow or whatever, like, there is a method.
It looks disgusting.
Yeah, there's a method for how you're supposed to do it, but everybody's like, I'm burning this mother. And that shouldn't taste better, but there's something about it having total char. I like that.
Do you like the crunchy exterior, or do you like that you've destroyed something and watched its life essence melt into a charcoal crisp?
I like to picture that the marshmallow is the head of the Nazi commander when the Ark of the Covenant is revealed. Just blah.
You're just playing Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
And then you're eating Nicolas Cage's head.
Weird. But that's sort of subversive, I guess. I don't know. I like eating, when I was a kid, when we'd have pizza parties, you take off the cheese layer and then you put Fritos down and you put it back on. You're not supposed to do that either. There's something subversive about that as well. You could even do it with Cheetos, by the way.
I like that burnt cheese that's like off the crust and it's like black.
I like burnt bacon.
Maybe we just like burnt things.
Maybe.
This seems to be okay. Well, I like one of my favorite foods are those coconuts you get at Thai restaurants.
I haven't had that.
So it's like a young coconut, and it's like shaped like a cottage, and it's white. And they take a machete, and the only way to do that is to take a machete and like chop at it and like crack it open, and you have to like scrape out all of the meat, and like it's slimy.
It's inefficient.
And then there's just like splinters everywhere, and I'm like, yeah, this is disgusting, and like it's making a mess, and like little shards are getting everywhere. You know, this applies to eating
like eggs.
Crabs too. Like
that's true.
They make a mess. They hurt me when I grab their legs because of the spikes. I still love it, and I will eat a crab at any occasion that there is one.
In fact, that's a little bit weird. So you're a little bit weird. I'm gonna admit that, but with the Cheetos, I think that if you wanted to have an interesting study, create a Cheeto that tastes the same but does not leave the film, and then just see how people like that in a direct back-to-back comparison. I don't know that you actually could. Maybe there's something to the flavor that is inherently produces that film. I don't know.
Probably
but I think that would be interesting to see.
I would say the grease with the powder.
Yeah, maybe.
Coming off, it's so gross. gross, but yet so desirable to some people. Is there anything that you feel that way about? A subversive, gross pleasure that you're not supposed to get? Oh my God, I just left the door open for a lot of X-rated comments.
Yeah.
Fine, leave them. Subscribe. Bye.